The dark, cold abyss of the ancient Miocene Ocean trembles as a shadow spanning 50 feet glides through the water. A massive megalodon, the undisputed king of sharks, senses a disturbance in the vibrations of the sea. Suddenly, from the gloom below, a thunderous acoustic blast strikes. A Livyatan, a predatory whale of equal size and ferocity, launches itself upward with teeth the size of swords. The water explodes in the cloud of silt and bubbles as the two most powerful jaws in Earth's history lock in a struggle where only one can survive. Millions of years ago, the Earth's oceans were not the serene blue expanses known today. They were arenas for a biological arms race that produced monsters beyond human imagination. At the pinnacle of this food chain were two titans that shared the same waters and the same appetite for destruction. The Odotus Megalodon, a cartilaginous nightmare, and Livyatan melvillei, a cetacean built for war, represented the peak of evolution in their respective lineages. To understand their rivalry is to understand the extreme limits of nature's design. The Megalodon was a marvel of predatory efficiency. Reaching lengths of up to 18 meters, its body was a streamlined muscle designed for ambush and power. Its mouth was a cavern lined with over 200 serrated teeth, each built to shear through the thick blubber and bone of whales. Unlike modern sharks, the Megalodon possessed a skeletal structure and muscle mass that allowed it to tackle prey much larger than itself. Its strategy was simple, yet lethal. A devastating strike from below, targeting the fins or the ribcage of its victim to immobilize it before delivering the final crushing bite. However, the Livyatan was no ordinary prey. While modern sperm whales are suction feeders that hunt deep-sea squid, the Livyatan was a hyper-predator. It possessed a massive skull nearly 3 meters long, housing the largest functional teeth of any known animal. Unlike the Megalodon, which relied on its shark-like instinct, the Livyatan was a mammal. It possessed a complex brain capable of tactical thinking and used echolocation to track its enemies in the darkest depths. Its bite was not just about sharp teeth. It was about the sheer force of a mammalian jaw closing with enough pressure to shatter a megalodon's cartilaginous skull. The hypothetical encounters between these two would have been the most violent events in the history of the hydrosphere. The Megalodon had the advantage of stealth and the ability to stay submerged indefinitely. It could wait in the thermal layers where the light fades, watching for the silhouette of the whale above. Conversely, the Livyatan had the advantage of intelligence and sound. Using its spermaceti organ, it could emit sonic pulses to disorient the shark, effectively blinding its sensory organs before a physical strike occurred. The battle was a choice between the shark's raw, cold-blooded power and the whale's warm-blooded, calculated aggression. As the epoch progressed, the climate of the planet began to shift. The warm, shallow seas that these giants called home started to cool. The ice caps expanded and the sea levels dropped. This transformation was the beginning of the end for the Titans. The large baleen whales, which served as the primary food source for both Megalodon and Livyatan, began to migrate toward the colder polar waters. The Megalodon, being a cold-blooded animal, struggled to maintain its body temperature in these freezing currents. It was trapped in the shrinking pockets of warm water, where food was becoming increasingly scarce. The Livyatan faced a different but equally grim fate. Despite being warm-blooded and capable of traversing colder waters, the loss of its primary breeding grounds and the shifting distribution of prey put immense pressure on its population. As the oceans changed, new competitors emerged. The ancestors of the modern great white shark and orcas began to appear. These smaller, more agile predators were more efficient in the cooling world. They required less food to survive and could hunt in packs, slowly outcompeting the solitary giants for the remaining resources. The extinction of the Megalodon and Livyatan was not a sudden event, but a slow, agonizing decline. As the giants faded, the balance of power in the oceans shifted forever. The once crowded Miocene seas became quieter, safer for the smaller species that would eventually dominate the modern world. The skeletons of these titans sank to the bottom, buried under layers of sediment, waiting for millions of years to be discovered by a species that would wonder at their size and power. In the final moments of their reign, one can imagine a lone megalodon swimming through a desolate, cooling sea. Its once abundant prey has vanished, and its massive body requires energy it can no longer find. Nearby, a Livyatan breathes its last at the surface, unable to find the pods of whales it once hunted with ease. The era of the monsters ended not with a bang, but with the silent, relentless march of a changing planet. They remain today as legends, deep-sea nightmares that remind us of a time when the oceans were ruled by gods of teeth and bone. The legacy of the Megalodon and Livyatan live on in the DNA of their descendants and the fascination of the human mind. They represent a lost world of extreme biology, where the struggle for survival pushed life to its absolute limits. While they no longer roam the depths, their story is a testament to the power of nature to create and, eventually, to reclaim even the mightiest of its children. The ancient battle for the oceans is over, but the shadows of these giants still haunt the dreams of anyone who gazes out into the vast, dark horizon of the sea.